This programming is provided by Wells Fargo. Our support of Aggie students goes beyond just banking. By supporting News 22, we're giving back to the community. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far.
Tonight on News 22, police have a suspect in a decades-old serial murder case. New Mexico cattle ranchers are afraid of how the drought will affect their livestock. And News 22's Mike Vigil introduces you to a little girl getting the ultimate dream come true. All that and more on News 22 Wednesday.
Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Adán Contreras.
And I'm Selena Quintana. Police are still looking for the person responsible for the death of a 17-year-old Las Cruces boy.
Jovan Sullivan died from gunshot wounds to his neck and chest after being hospitalized Monday night. Police say the shooting took place at 7 p.m. in the Foothills area. A spokesman tells News 22 Sullivan was the passenger in a car at the time. He says a dark-colored sedan was pursuing the car while the two exchanged gunfire. Sullivan was a junior at Las Montañas Charter High School. He was recently named Student of the Month for April. A vigil for Sullivan will take place Saturday at 7 p.m. at the Las Cruces Skate Park. A man is in custody after leading police on a high-speed chase that went from Radium Springs to Las Cruces. 36-year-old Justin Dominguez allegedly stole a pickup truck in Doña Ana. The owner called police to report the vehicle stolen. Dominguez reached speeds of up to 100 miles per hour and eventually ran into a chain-link fence. He escaped the wreck and climbed to a second-story balcony where an officer hit him with a less lethal beanbag round.
I saw all the cops when they got here and they surrounded the whole apartment complex. I saw them running all through the place with guns and stuff, and then when I looked up, I saw the guy up here with guys pointing taser guns at him.
Dominguez was taken to a Las Cruces hospital to be evaluated for his injuries.
A New Mexico police officer cheated death when he was almost struck by a wrong-way driver in Santa Fe. The officer pursued the driver and stopped 53-year-old Santiago Garcia. Garcia was arrested for his 11th DWI offense, careless driving, resisting, evading, or obstructing an officer and driving without a driver's license. Garcia was booked into the Santa Fe County Jail. A surprising twist in a decades-old case. After 40 years of investigating, authorities in California arrested the so-called Golden State Killer.
Andy Rose has the latest on the investigation.
Joseph James DeAngelo has been called a lot of things by law enforcement. Today, it's our pleasure to call him defendant.
Known as the Golden State Killer, the East Area Rapist, and the original Night Stalker, 72-year-old Joseph James DeAngelo was arrested on Wednesday. Authorities say he's behind a string of 12 murders and at least 50 rapes across California between 1976 and 1986.
While this filing is just the beginning of the prosecution of Mr. DeAngelo, it is the culmination of a decades-long, unrelenting investigation that's singularly focused on bringing this rapist and killer to justice.
Aside from sketches based on survivors' descriptions, police had very few details about the killer's appearance. Even after the case went cold, investigators continued to search for clues.
We started some surveillance. We were able to get some discarded DNA, and we were able to confirm what we thought we already knew, that we had our man.
Deputies arrested DeAngelo outside his home in Sacramento. He faces capital murder charges and other counts connected to the 1980 killings.
We found the needle in the haystack, and it was right here in Sacramento.
I'm Andy Rose reporting.
So it was cooler than yesterday, but it was still a bit warm today.
It was. It really, really was. And Vicky is next with a first look at weather.
This is Victoria Valderrama taking a first look at your current conditions. Right now, Las Cruces is under partly sunny skies with a temperature of 75 degrees. Winds are coming from the southeast at 8 miles per hour. Our humidity is at a low 5%. Our dew point reads at 36 degrees, and our barometer is at 29.79 inches. Today in Las Cruces, we had a high of 79 degrees. We woke up to a low of 36 degrees. The average for this day is 61 degrees. Traveling back in time, in 1996, we had an all-time high of 93 degrees, and in 1968, we had a low of 34 degrees. We had no rain today, so our yearly rainfall stays at 81 inches. That's all I have for you now. Back to Selena and Adon at the desk.
Thanks, Vicki. Cattle ranchers in 5 southwestern states are looking for hay and pastured land because of the ongoing drought and recent wildfires. The states that are dealing with this dilemma are Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and New Mexico. Federal agriculture officers say ranchers may not have enough feed to maintain their herds. Ranchers in surrounding states are donating as much hay as possible.
Faith leaders and environmental groups are up in arms over a Trump administration plan to stop a plan to reduce pollution. The Obama administration approved a rule that would have drastically cut methane pollution. It would have required energy companies to capture the methane instead of burning it off. New Mexico senators say the state produces half of all the waste and methane in the country. They say, in addition to pollution, the methane is worth about $27 million per year in royalty income. The question of what to do about the rule is working its way through the courts. Federal regulators have a series of public meetings coming up as they consider a plan to temporarily store spent nuclear fuel. There is a proposed site in southern New Mexico from commercial nuclear reactors around the United States. The first meeting, hosted by the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, will be held Monday in Roswell. The public comment period will last through May on the application field in Holtec International. They first announced plans 3 years ago to construct a below-ground space for temporarily housing tons of spent nuclear fuel. The company is seeking an initial 40-year license.
The government has to start taking new applications for the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals Program, or DACA. Another federal judge overruled the Trump administration's plan to end the program for immigrants brought to the United States as children by their parents. But the administration has 90 days to better explain its reasons for ending DACA.
We believe the judge's ruling is extraordinarily broad and wrong on the law. What's worse is that it creates an incentive for more illegal immigrant youth to come here and causes them to expect similar judicial policies be applied to them.
Tuesday's ruling allows for new enrollees, which could protect thousands of more undocumented immigrants. The case will ultimately be decided by the U.S. Supreme Court.
College and university enrollment in New Mexico is on a downward slide. From June 2016 until June 2017, New Mexico saw a 5% drop in the number of college students. That's a bigger drop than nearly every state. The only bigger decline in full-time student enrollment was at South Dakota public colleges. New Mexico's 24 public colleges and universities offer some of the lowest average tuition rates in the country.
A person who wants to turn those numbers around was on the NMSU campus on Monday. John Flores is a finalist who became the next chancellor at New Mexico State. John Flores grew up in Greece and moved to the United States in his mid-20s. He is currently the Dean of the College of Agriculture at Kansas State University, and he is the head of Kansas State's Research and Extension. Flores wants to find ways to help all students stay enrolled past their first year and help them find jobs after graduation. The remaining 4 finalists are scheduled to visit within the next 2 weeks.
Pecan growers in the U.S. are hoping to break out of their shells and sell more pecans. And they have a new slogan they hope will make it happen. The slogan is, American Pecans, the original super nut. Pecans are the only native nut from North America. The Fort Worth, Texas-based American Pecan hopes to cultivate a bigger market in China.
Amazon wants to deliver your packages wherever you happen to be. Starting this week, Amazon can deliver packages to any parked car that has the proper technology. The cars must be a 2015 model or newer and must be on-store equipped. With the touch of a button, Amazon can unlock your car, place the package, and lock it back up. Last fall, Amazon launched its new service, which deliveries were left inside your home, but customers weren't happy letting strangers inside. Amazon says the car is less risky. Stay tuned. Vicki will be back with our national forecast.
But first, Mike Vigil brings us one story of a wish coming true. More on that when News 22 continues.
At a recent KRWG coffee visit, we talked with KRWG fans about why they value public media.
The fact that you're here in T or C says a lot to me, that you're interested in our community.
KRWG is my major source of information and entertainment.
Please support public radio. If not for yourself, do it for me.
Become a member online at krwg.org or call 1-888-922-5794. Thank you.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
I left my heart. I can count on the fingers of one hand the people who have shaped my life.
These and other shows are available with Passport. Become a member of this PBS station. Sign in and start streaming today.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Wednesday,
where news matters.
The Make-A-Wish Foundation has been granting kids wishes for nearly 40 years. And this week, they did that for a 3-year-old El Paso girl who has been fighting for her life since the day she was born.
News 22's Mike Vigil introduces us to Fernanda Herrera and shows us the moment she found out her wish was coming true.
Meet 3-year-old Fernanda. She doesn't know it yet, but she's about to get the biggest surprise of her life thanks to Make-A-Wish and the Providence Children's Hospital. But to understand how Fernanda got to this point, we gotta go back a few years to see everything she's been through in her short life.
She was born with a liver disease. We didn't know she was, she had such a life-threatening illness until she was 5 months.
The illness had her in and out of hospitals since she was diagnosed.
She got her transplant when she was 11 months old.
Fast forward to today. She's about to get a huge surprise from her favorite Disney princess of all, Princess Belle.
Fine. Let's see the picture. 2 and ta-da! Look at this one. You're going to Disneyland! Oh my goodness! You're going to Disneyland for Nana!
The most fabulous part was watching her walk through the door, not knowing what was happening, seeing a red carpet, and then of all things, her favorite person, which is Princess Belle, from the Disney Beauty and the Beast.
She loves Belle. That's like her favorite princess of all.
For Mom Ruby Herrera, this is something she never thought could happen.
You just see it on TV and you hear about, kids getting their wishes granted, but you never know that it's gonna be you someday.
She says her favorite part will be watching Fernanda be carefree and enjoying herself at the most magical place on earth.
It's just like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Fernanda to, forget about all her hospital stays and just everything that she's gone through and enjoy herself, to the fullest. It's really nice what everybody has put together for Fernanda. She's really happy.
Now Fernanda's on her way to hang with Mickey and Minnie, and of course,
yeah.
And it's all thanks to the same people who gave her a second shot at life. Mike Vigil, News 22.
Fernanda's mom tells News 22 that she is now healthy and looking forward to their trip, but she will have to live the rest of her life on medication.
It's an ingredient you probably add to your morning coffee or find in your diet soda, and it's probably what's making you fat.
New research shows artificial sweeteners may actually be hurting you, not helping you. Zach Covert has more in today's Health Minute.
It adds 0 calories to your drink, but it may add pounds to your body. A new report finds no-calorie artificial sweeteners actually cause you to gain weight instead of helping you slim down. According to a study in the journal Experimental Biology, there's a link between no-calorie sugar substitutes and metabolic changes at the genetic level that could lead to diabetes and obesity. Researchers found that exposure to artificial sweeteners for 3 weeks altered the expression of certain genes responsible for breaking down fat. Researchers witnessed an increase in lipids in the bloodstream and a decrease in the molecule involved in clearing fat from the bloodstream. Scientists say the most surprising finding was that metabolic changes didn't occur when cells were exposed to natural sugars like glucose and fructose. Instead of altering certain genes, researchers say natural sugars contribute to cardiovascular disease through insulin resistance and by damaging the cells in the blood vessels. The new research adds to the debate over artificial sweeteners and their impact on health. This has been Zach Covert with today's Health Minute.
So right now we're in a drought. I wonder what the rest of the country is looking like.
That's right, and Vicky is next with a look at the weather.gov national forecast.
Taking a look at today's national forecast, El Paso is at 77 degrees, headed south to San Antonio. They're at 83 degrees. Brownsville is at 88 degrees, but in the east, they're looking at temperatures not as warm. Washington is at 63 degrees, New York at 58 degrees, and Boston also at 58 degrees. But now the April winds are over and the month of May is approaching, and in my next map, we're going to talk about what that means. So for us here in New Mexico, we're going to be caught in this jet stream that's moving north, and that will be nudging eastward, bringing possible thunderstorms into Texas. So for the most part, we will be remaining under partly sunny skies and experiencing some scattered showers, and that's going to be happening on Saturday afternoon. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk New Mexico local temperatures. You're watching News 22 Wednesday.
Fresh Air with Terry Gross, weekday mornings at 11 on 90.7 FM and streaming live on KRWG.org.
This week on the KRWG Music Spotlight. Music duo Soulshine.
Saturday at 10 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Robbie's asked me to marry him.
Really?
I've said yes.
No, seriously?
Yes.
Gary thinks you fell out with him, you and my granddad.
Why?
It's just that I'm paranoid.
Yeah.
Not normally.
Just ring me dad up if you're worried.
Sure, but then you didn't ring me either.
Less than 2 weeks ago, John slept in your room.
Yeah, but nothing happened.
The agency sent me.
Hello.
Last Tango in Halifax.
Sunday at 9:30 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Welcome back. Now taking a look at temperatures in New Mexico. Farmington is at 70 degrees, Santa Fe at 63 degrees, Clovis is at 60 degrees, Ruidoso at 58 degrees, Las Cruces right now at 75 degrees, and Deming at 77. And tomorrow in New Mexico, Farmington will be at 78 degrees, Santa Fe at 70 degrees, Clovis at 72 degrees, Roswell 85, Las Cruces a high of 87 tomorrow, and Deming at 88. And in our neighboring cities, Alamogordo tonight will have some cloudy skies with a low of 49, and tomorrow a high of 84. And in TRC tonight, a low of 52 and a high of 87 tomorrow. In Silver City tonight, a low of 45 with cloudy skies, and tomorrow a high of 81. And in the City of the Crosses tonight, we'll be having a low of 49 and tomorrow a high of 87. I'll be back with your 5-day forecast, but for now, back to the desk for more news.
Thanks, Vicki. 2 teenagers are dead and a third is behind bars after a crash that may have been due to street racing.
That's the first story in tonight's Southwest Minute.
Police say they saw 2 speeding vehicles with one of them crashed into a tree. The driver and a passenger were killed. The driver of the other vehicle was arrested after he tried to flee. Prosecutors are considering whether to charge him. 3 people in California are recovering after a car crash on Tuesday. California state troopers were chasing an 18-year-old male driver at a checkpoint near San Diego. He lost control and crashed. Police found 3 men hiding in the trunk. Law enforcement believes the men were being smuggled into the country. Some Arizona teachers and parents took to the streets on Tuesday. They want teachers' pay and school funding to reach a national average. Other teachers are adopting a wait-and-see approach to see what the state legislature will do.
So I heard that one Aggie finished top leaderboard in today's golf tournament.
I did hear that, and David Guest is more with sports.
Thanks, Selena. Coming up in sports, find out where 2 local graduates are predicted to land in tomorrow's draft. Don't go too far because News 22 Sports is next.
Next time on Call the Midwife.
I mean, it's just like the photo. It's perfect.
I'm in to get me cataract done. Ripe as a French fig and ready for slicing.
I could lose my children. I have no home. I have no means of making a living.
Why am I to stand by while you corrupt their young minds? Phyllis! My friend, she's inside. Please help.
Thursday at 8 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
From Havana, Cuba.
This is International Jazz Day.
Host Will Smith joins Herbie Hancock, Quincy Jones, Chucho Valdez, Esperanza Spalding, Kurt Elling, Marcus Miller, and over 50 artists from around the world for a spectacular International Jazz Day global concert.
Friday at 9 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. It's Wednesday, and that means we've got the best in the Southwest with David Guest. Let's talk sports. The New Mexico State baseball team will begin a 5-day trip in Arizona against Arizona State at 7:30 this evening. The Sun Devils posted a 17-22 overall record and recently ended a 6-game losing streak last weekend. The Aggies currently rank in the top 10 in 8 different categories across the NCAA, including hits and batting average. Tomorrow marks the 83rd commencement of the National Football League's draft. This year, the draft will be hosted by the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas, from April 26th until the 28th. Will Hernandez, who will be graduating from UTEP in May, is one of the top offensive linemen and is projected to be taken in the first round. He proved his overpowering strength through the combine. New Mexico State's Jaleel Scott has drawn interest from several different NFL franchises, but most experts have him going in the 6th round to the Cleveland Browns. The draft will begin at 6 p.m. tomorrow evening as the Cleveland Browns will be on the clock for the #1 overall pick. In a dramatic 2-year turnaround from winning 10 games in 2015, the Philadelphia 76ers trusted their process and are now headed to the Eastern Conference semifinals after defeating the Miami Heat in a 5-game series. The Sixers were joined by the controversial Philadelphia-born rapper Meek Mill, who was released from a 4-month prison sentence just hours before the game. 76ers co-owner Michael Rubin picked Mill up via helicopter and escorted him to the Wells Fargo Center, where he rang the Liberty Bell to bring in the home team. The San Antonio Spurs were eliminated by the Golden State Warriors, leaving rumors and questions surrounding the franchise. The New Mexico State men's golf team finished in 4th place in the WAC Championship Tournament. Isaac Murray played great, shooting another even par on Tuesday to move into the tie for first place at par. Murray fell to 2nd place, 3 strokes behind McCain Shellart of UMKC, but made a strong push for NMSU. And that's all for sports tonight. Join us for more sports action tomorrow. Still ahead on News 22, Selena will be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast. But first, find out what type of tree got the Lego treatment in the New World Record. More on that when News 22 returns.
Next time on Call the Midwife.
She's young and strong. She's a fighter, is our Barbara.
There's a local boy in there, same age as Tim. He troubles me.
I would gladly let the good Lord take me if he would spare her.
Sunday at 7 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow.
There used to be a button. She thought that a dart would go in and you'd push down on the top of the ring and that would shoot the dart into your enemy who you were shaking hands with.
Is this ring a secret weapon? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow from Green Bay.
Monday at 7 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Let's take a look at our top stories. After 4 decades of investigating murders, California authorities have arrested the so-called Golden State Killer. Ranchers in New Mexico are in need of hay and pasture land due to the ongoing drought and recent wildfires. And Mike Vigil told us about one El Paso girl who has been fighting for her life since day one and finally had her wish come true.
Legoland Japan marked its one-year anniversary this month by setting a Guinness World Record. Take a look at this, a giant cherry blossom tree made entirely of Lego blocks. A team of staff at the Lego factory in the Czech Republic designed and built the tree. Afterwards, it was shipped to Japan for final assembly. In all, it took over 800,000 Lego bricks to put together.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it did sound pretty cool.
It looks pretty too.
And Vicky, what's the 5 days look like?
So guys, the next 5 days are looking pretty good. We're gonna be having partly sunny skies, and then on Sunday and Monday we'll be having sunny skies. Sunday we'll have a high of 88, and on Monday a high of 85. Friday will be our coolest day with a high of 74 and a low of 50. But other than that, it's all good news.
It looks like pretty comfortable temperatures. We're not in the 90s yet, so
exactly.
Not quite yet.
Yeah, not too bad.
And don't forget, you can catch all of today's aired stories and past newscasts on our YouTube page at youtube.com/KRWG News22.
And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat for show updates and the latest on what the News 22 team is up to.
And that's all for News 22 Wednesday. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. I'm Selena Quintana.
I'm Adán Contreras.
And I'm Victoria Valderrama. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
This news brief in Español is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a este breve informativo de Noticias 22. Yo soy Jazmín Anaya. Un hombre que presuntamente dirigió a los oficiales del condado de Doña Ana en una persecución a alta velocidad se encuentra bajo custodia. Justin Domínguez, de 36 años, presuntamente robó una camioneta GMC que estaba estacionada en una casa en la Bajo Trail en el pueblo de Doña Ana. El dueño del camión llamó al 911 el miércoles para informar que el vehículo había sido robado. Gracias al sistema de navegación instalado en el vehículo, los oficiales pudieron localizar el automóvil en un área de descanso junto a la interestatal número 20. Domínguez trató de huir de la policía a alta velocidad hacia el sur por la interestatal 25, alcanzando velocidades de 100 millas por hora. El sospechoso fue transportado a un hospital del área de Las Cruces, donde será evaluado por lesiones recibidas durante el arresto. El domingo, un oficial estatal en Santa Fe, Nuevo México, por poco fue impactado por un vehículo que transitaba en sentido contrario al tráfico. El infractor, Santiago García, de 53 años de edad, se dio a la fuga cuando el oficial le hizo una indicación de parada. El oficial logró detener al sospechoso en la intersección entre la calle Cerrillos y Jaguar. García se encontraba bajo la influencia del alcohol, motivo por el cual fue arrestado y transportado al centro de detención del condado de Santa Fe. García enfrenta múltiples cargos, ya que fue arrestado por 11ª ocasión por manejar bajo la influencia del alcohol. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos. Para Noticias 22, Jazmín Anaya.